What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, as per the title below, the best way to get organized, get things done, and beat procrastination, that is to have a checklist. Okay? Anytime you want to get things done, but most importantly, hold yourself accountable and remind yourself of what needs to be done, checklists are one of the best ways to do that. It's an amazing and fantastic productivity tool, yet it is very simple. It can be as simple as just having a pen and paper with your items to be completed for the day, and you basically check them as you complete them, or you strike through them, or you can use a productivity tool like Notion, for example, has checklist capabilities in it, and that will allow you to monitor your progress. Okay, now the reason checklists work so well, it's because one, when you write it out yourself and outline it for yourself, you are actually registering within your own mind what is it that you need to do. Two, you have a visual reminder right in front of you. And three, every time you complete a task and you check or cross out an item that you completed, it gives you a sense of self-fulfillment and an accomplishment, which basically helps reward your brain. And in this way, you build the habit of getting things done. Okay, so the idea behind the checklist isn't just to self-organize as well as remind yourself of what you need to do, but you're actually offering your brain positive reinforcement every time you are accomplishing a task and striking it out. That in its own way is a reward, okay? And it's very gratifying to see it take place. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it came to my attention, apparently, that majority of people have never used checklists in their life, which is mind-boggling to me. But maybe, just maybe, it is that way for me because I come from an academic as well a business world background. So for me, it's something that is natural to do, and I take it for granted perhaps. But having talked to a few people recently, it seems that it's not even a forethought or an afterthought even, or any sort of thought. It's never crossed most people's minds. And I'm talking here having conversation with guys that are multimillionaires that for the life of them never ever once thought about using a checklist, even though their lives are hectic, unorganized sometimes, and they don't really have a tool to manage the chaos in their lives. And that's what blew my mind. I thought initially maybe it was a one-off case, maybe two cases, three, but once I started talking to more people, and mind you, like I said, these are established people that are very successful, millions of dollars in assets and cash. None of them have ever used a checklist. And I'm like, do I have a secret? Do I know something that even millionaires don't know? And it was mind-boggling to me that this is a thing. Now, mind you, I'm not saying all millionaires or high net worth individuals or affluent people don't use checklists. I'm just saying that there's a large sum of people out there, including multimillionaires, that are not aware of productivity tools, organization tools, project management tools as simple as a checklist that they can use to organize their businesses, themselves, their lifestyles, and just manage the chaos, randomness, and uncertainty sometimes that comes up within their life. So if you're out there and you took checklists for granted or you never thought about it, there you go. This is your reminder or perhaps notification that checklists are very powerful. They're very simple tools, yet extremely powerful for their intended purposes. Now, what is the best way to go about creating a checklist? Okay. So, first of all, you want to create a checklist that is listed by priority of task. Now, generally speaking, that entails listing the most demanding and difficult tasks at the top. Okay, these are the tasks that take quite a bit of time. So you want to list these at the top. And the reason you want to do that is because you want your checklist to be prioritized. Now, what the criteria for you are will depend from person to person, but for this example, like I've stated, the most time demanding, the most difficult task is at the top. And this is how you would go about organizing the list. You're prioritizing it based on what task is the most difficult and what task requires the most time. Another way you can organize the checklist is by breaking your prioritized items into sub-items, meaning that for one task, there are subtasks that need to be completed, and these subtasks can be either timed or dependent on some sort of threshold, or they are basically dependent on another task for completion. And the reason you want to break it out this way, it just takes the pressure off of your brain in terms of thinking of what you need to do. When it's laid out for you, you think about it once and you never have to think about it again. You just need to refer to the list and you see the task as well as the subtasks that you need to complete. And this way you're just not putting pressure and burning mental energy repeatedly for a task that needs to be outlined once. So it's more about efficiency, really. Another way to organize your checklist is by having it color coded. And the color coding may have to do with labeling the assignment of tasks based on category, or labeling the tasks based on progress of completion, right? Depending on your checklist, it could be daily or weekly or monthly. You can actually choose to manage your checklist items based on timely progress. And you can use color coding for that. You can use symbols. And this is going to be more for digital application-based checklists like Notion, for example, where you can actually use some of these things. Now, another thing to take into consideration with checklists is that your checklist is only as effective as your commitment to completing it and executing on it. It's one thing to write out a checklist, it's another to actually execute on the tasks and the deadlines you've assigned to that checklist. A checklist is just a tool. And like I've mentioned earlier, it's a tool to remind you of what you need to do. It's a tool to help you basically tackle what you need to do and help you with organizing yourself and organizing your projects or tasks, and basically allowing you to have a sense of control over the chaos and the overwhelming aspect of having to get things done. But all of this is only beneficial and comes into play if you have the discipline and you have the regimented approach to follow through with the checklist. So basically, once you create the checklist, you have to execute on it. Otherwise, it's just another piece of paper with lines of words on it and sentences, and basically nothing gets done or completed. So it's not enough just to have a checklist. You also have to have the discipline to execute on it. And that basically comes down to taking action. All right. And when you think about it another way, the whole purpose of a checklist is to make it easier for you to take action. It's really, that's all it is. You are just making it easier for yourself to take action on things you need to get done and completed. And this is one of those things that you have to be careful about, where you get into this administrative sort of atmosphere where you love spending time creating checklists and getting creative with them, but you end up using the checklist in itself as a way to procrastinate and not get anything done. And the checklist, rather than being a means to an end, becomes an end in itself. So that's something to be very cognizant about, okay? It's a tool to help you in terms of taking action. But you have to be careful, because the checklist itself can become the end rather than the means. So, I think that'll be it for this upload. Hopefully this is helpful for some of you out there. I know it is helpful for quite a bit of people out there in real life that I talk to, including engineers, surprisingly, that have never, which is weird. I don't know if I can believe them or trust what they say, or they're just messing with me. But even apparently engineers have never thought of using checklists. So, hey, it is what it is. But this will be it for this upload. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was helpful. If you did like it, make sure to consider subscribing to the channel. Give me a thumbs up and turn on the notification bells so you are aware when I do upload to the channel. I have also went ahead and put down a Calendly invite for those of you that are interested in working with me on aspects of your life in terms of financial management, dieting, as well as just overall self-improvement. So I've actually had 3 of you reach out to me, and I've worked with the 3 of you, so you know who you are. And it's been a very gratifying experience, and I'm glad to be able to help. So that will be below in the description box. If it's something you're interested in, make sure to go ahead and pick a timing that suits you, and then we can take it from there. Otherwise, as per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.